So Kentucky Route Zero. A lot of things are not going well for our friends in this game. Um, Largely, Conway seems to have the worst situation of all. We've He's kind of lost control of himself, and we've kind of lost control of him. Because he started drinking again because of the distillery trying to get him to sell his soul to them. They now have his soul and his alcoholism, and it's bad. Um, so a long while back, which I'm pretty sure it didn't say before. I'm pretty sure that's like it's been a while since you played this game, Lauren, and I'm like, yes, it is, has. So let's continue this game. I love the description, like the text-based description of audio experience. This is really cool. Like delicate synthesizer music. Such an interesting way of describing it. Hold on, I think, am I too quiet? I'm probably too quiet. I'm gonna turn it down. Thank you for following. Oh, subscribing. Thank you, Ashley. Oh, huh. Sounds like houses in Texas. All the tiny lots with houses that are so close together. But in this case, it's just two houses, I suppose. Mm. And it's so one thing that's really interesting and strange about this game is like the when we get to this area, they're like they've got sunflowers, but what sun to shine on them? Oh, grow lamps. Never mind, they do address that. Huh. Okay. I spoke too soon. Huh. There's like this. Huh. Oh, I get to affect the story. Hmm. I like this one better. Yeah. The writing is so good in this game. It's funny that I'm like, I wouldn't have blinked if they had just had sunflowers growing out of nowhere. Now they're actually drawing attention to the weirdness of there being sunflowers here. But I would have just accepted that as just the way things are. Hmm. There were moths at the at River's house. Weren't there? Oh no. And here we are just sailing past. It seems like there was a point there where I had the option to choose to go either left or right. Which I did not take. Can I Oh man. Oh gosh. All of these sound really interesting. I want to do more of the telephone stuff because the telephone stuff was really interesting. So we're gonna do that. I hope you guys are doing all right, by the way. Those of you who joined after I kind of started with the chit chat, chittery, chattery. A phone is a location. I love everyone just standing there awkwardly. So I don't get to control served. Oh wait, his arm. That's new. I'm pretty sure that's new. Conway's going to turn into one of the Distillery boys. We're going to see it happen over the course of this game. I don't like that. I'm sorry, Conway. The beginning of this act? Okay. I don't know if I fully noticed it then. I might have, and then forgotten that I noticed it, and then noticed it again. Yeah. Like, there's so many words coming out of him. Huh. That's awfully claustrophobic. Have we actually heard him talk about long hauls? I don't know that we've heard him talk about long hauls. We've talked about roofing, and we know how that went. And we've talked about deliveries for the antique store. But I don't actually know that we've heard a whole lot about this part of his life. Admittedly, he doesn't talk a lot. Didn't talk a lot. So most of what we knew about him was through his, like, little dream memories. Things are going all right, Blues. We are returning to Kentucky Route Zero. We're going to try to ride this wild ride and see if anyone comes out okay at the end. The Blueses are here. To the left of here. There's a place called Oregon. I love that he talks about Oregon like it's some sort of, like, wild unknown land. You can't pump your own gas there, yeah. They do that in New Jersey too, which is very disconcerting for me. Oh, that was him failing. I was like, why is he describing it as left? But he's saying west. I don't like driving through places where you're not allowed to pump your own gas. It's really weird. I think New Jersey might have changed that finally. I don't think Oregon has changed it yet. I mean, they do now because global pandemic. But prior to that, gas jockey, didn't know that's what it was called. He's got so many words to say. It's just he feels like a different person. I forgot. What am I talking about? No, this is not social distancing. That is true. But considering that one of them is turning into a glowy skeleton and we are all in this weird sort of life place, I don't know. They have other concerns. Oh no, Conway. Conway is definitely quoting someone when he says, "Don't say I never taught you anything." No, no, no. No, no. No, no, no. 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 There's this weird... Did he just jump in the water? Did he just jump in the water? Is he swimming back? He totally is. What are you doing, Conway? What are you doing? I like, oh my god, that's true. He does do a lot of phone messages. I left some messages for him, ostensibly. I didn't actually leave messages, but I acted as though I did.
I remember going to a house in Aroostook County, Maine. I was 2. We were moving, and we were driving up in a
Mm, that dates it.
It was the first time that I'd seen the house that I was gonna live in for the next 7 years.
I love his call-ins. Why would we ever not listen to the next message? Where is that location?
Washed in the bathroom sink.
That's probably earliest memories, what that sounds like. But what a strange place. Like if you look, because I don't think we've seen that location on the left where he's dialing into his answering machine. It looks like a fancy. We have? Okay. Where was it? It wasn't in the. I mean, I see brick in the background, so is it part of the. No, it wouldn't be part of the bureau. Oh, okay. Oh, is that where. Okay. Okay. I never did fully understand what was going on there with how things looked, or like my brain never processed that location properly. It just could not.
I was just parking my car. I had to parallel park the street that I live on was full, but there was a but it just got cold today for like the first time in a long time. So I had to be on. And whenever you have the heat on in an old car, it definitely smells a certain way. It smells kind of like it almost smells. You can like smell that it's hot. You can feel it too, but the smell that it is like from the car itself, like from the engine. And there's been a lot of smoking going on in that car, so it's not exactly a pleasant smell, but it's definitely strong and it's definitely there. And with the windows down, you can also smell that it's cold. So it's both. And that feeling together
Huh.
is super familiar if you've been in old cars a lot.
Think.
Anyway, I was parking and I had to go in and out about it like 3 times, but when I finally finished parking, it was perfect. Both wheels against the curb, and that's when I had like the double memory. When I first learned how to drive, my mom taught me how to parallel park. She told me a story about her dad, who was a motorcycle cop, taught her how to parallel park. And every time she parallel parked, she would take out a dime and stick the dime between the wheel of her car and the curve of the street. Then she had to do it again.
That is crazy.
She didn't do that for me, but every time that I got upset about having to do it again, she would tell me that at least I didn't have to be a dime distance away from the curb.
There's something to say about.
I learned how to drive in the fall, and I got to snow a lot during that time. And I don't know when my mom learned to drive.
Okay, I'm just gonna take moments to say that sounds so much like generational abuse getting a little bit better and being like, well, at least I'm not as bad to you as my parent was to me. And you're like, okay, yes, that's true. And it's also just this person's story, and I don't know if that's the reason why it was chosen to be put in this game. The reason why this story is told in this game is, well, at least you didn't have to deal with what I had to deal with. But that's what it makes me think of. These sound like, I'm trying to figure out how scripted these sound, because there's kind of a way of acting that sounds more natural than acting, if that makes sense. And I don't know that people actually sound like that when they talk. I'm sorry, we're going off on a tangent. I'm streaming, which means I'm talking. And I'm going off on a tangent because it's Kentucky Route Zero and there's a lot of talking and things to talk about. But there are like a couple of different ways to be a good actor, and like some of them like draw attention to their actorliness, and then there's this way of talking that is the way actors talk, as though they're talking like normal people. It's not the way that actors talk when they're talking like actors. Like there's like a more like consciously and intentionally performative, where you're like, ah, this person is acting versus inhabiting a role. But even within inhabiting a role, there's a couple of different ways of doing it, and there's one that there's just this way that people talk in acting like performances. And I know this because when I was in middle school and high school, I was on the speech and debate team, and I was really not good. So don't go thinking I was any good. I wasn't. But I would do monologues and hang out with classmates who were much better at monologues, and go to little regional competitions with people who are much better at like monologues or duets or scenes or whatever. And there's this cadence that is how people talk when they're trying to sound like natural people, but they're being actors. And like, so I talk about how the tallest principle is basically like the best game ever made. Don't get me started. I really need a button. It's like, ask me about the tallest principle. But like, as much as I loved Alexandra's everything, like I loved the acting, I loved the writing, but she had some of that cadence too, and I'm trying to figure out whether these do or not, because the it's okay. I'm trying to figure this out with these.
Oh, probably going to school.
I think, because like I wonder, like, is this actually the people who made this game? Did they actually like have ask friends or people or whatever to like,
And it's my window, and it reminds me, of tongue scraping against my skin.
I don't know, that doesn't.
What?
Oh no, this is.
I'm about to cross an ocean. I worry about my dog.
You think so? Yeah, because it doesn't. The longer story that the woman was telling about parallel parking, I liked that it had this sort of like starting and stopping and kind of half messy words that didn't even get transcribed out, that you really like when you want to make it sound like it's real, so you put in fake realness. You don't do that. That's not how fake realness works. That's how actual real realness works. Fake realness is more intentionally cultivated. Yeah, this feels like where you're like, oh, these are the questions. Um, like these are the questions that we had the option to respond to here there along the echo, in the intermission. So I want to listen to these.
Can't sleep anywhere near a place. The gas is full. Not when it's being sold, when it's not being sold.
Huh.
It was tough to hold on to this thing, but yeah, my hands are pretty jammed.
Okay, I totally remember the snake tangent.
I remember the number 10 and a flashcard with a turkey on it. It had a yellow background.
And it's kind of like, do people talk differently because they know they're being recorded?
The songs are too loud.
Somebody just had like a hold music or something like that.
Not a whole lot. I guess I was walking over to the stroller and the cop parked for my mother accidentally pushed me into a spider web. I freaked out a lot. That's the first thing I remember.
It is amazing the things that stick in your memory.
We were sent for. I keep hearing noises. metal pedals or ceramic pedals that kind of tells like memory. They're like this weird. I can't even describe the material. It's resonant. It's ringing. And I just and as soon as I don't close my eyes again, there's nothing.
Like, this is just somebody called in to say this. It's such a specific thing that feels so properly part of the game experience that it seems like it would be scripted.
I remember driving across this old dirt road.
Hope you guys don't mind that we're like digging into a lot of these, but this is really interesting.
My birthday at the party at McDonald's twice.
Oh my
A toy that I didn't like. I broke it.
Oh my gosh, I had McDonald's birthday parties when I was really little. Really little.
Being caught in the jungle gym. I was crying so that while picture rally that my parents take me out. They make it on the
That one's really hard to hear.
seriously?
Retreating music?
Whether I wear boots or sneakers, my feet always feel damp. Cold and damp. Well, I was hoping that you'd be able to tell me why I can't sleep. It seems like it's been a long time, and it seems like it's been it's just time to sleep now.
It's time to sleep now. This one is good. This one is really good. I really like it. Oh man. My first memory is probably being apparently around 2 years old. And this is one of those memories that, because I told you I used to have a really excellent memory, which I don't anymore, but I did. But when you have memories and you kind of access them over and over again, like I'm like, these are the memories that are my oldest memories, but I've kind of gone in and touched those oldest memories. You're not sure exactly how authentic they are versus shaped by having been accessed. So like I have the memory that I talk about when people are like, what are your oldest memories? The memories that I talk about are being like on the ground on the floor because I was crawling around. I wasn't really walking much, and this really thick shaggy green carpet like really close to my face, or going to this wooden floored room that seemed very big because everything seemed very big because I was very small, that now that I'm an adult, well, even when I was like an older child and could put context to the images, I was like, oh, that's probably my sister's dance class. Those are all when we lived in Chicago. So I was about 2.5 years old, maybe at the most. So very, very young. Those are the memories that I can pack up in words and convey to people. Those are the answers that I've always given for the past, 20 something years that I've talked about that. My actual oldest memory is a memory that is more of a feeling than a memory. And it's not something I talk about really because it feels more personal. Like those memories are memories, they're mundane memories. And then I have this memory of walking through a forest holding a woman's hand who is not my mother or anyone that I can associate with anyone real that I know of. And I had to be really careful because when I touch that memory, it's like the edges of the memory kind of become like permeable, kind of like and sticky almost. And so other related similar actual memories or dreams, because I cannot tell dreams from memories necessarily, But like they'll start kind of encroaching on that one, and I don't want them to. Like there is a feeling of that forest that I don't want to lose, and if I touch that memory too many times, I will lose that. So it's actually kind of risky for me to even say it here. That is not. I do not talk about that. I do not tell people that. I tell people my oldest memories are when I was 2 years old and we lived in this house in Chicago. Well, it wasn't really a house; it was a townhouse. Apparently, there were skunks in the basement, which is why I have a higher tolerance for the smell of skunk than most people. It's not to say I'm immune to it, but I have a higher tolerance. It bothers me less, and it takes more for it to bother me as much. Um, but yeah, so I have this very, very close, intimate, personal, special memory about this forest and this woman. And in a way, I have written stories that sort of tried to get at that, but I am scared to lose it. So there you go. I didn't even paint enough of a picture for you to get any of it. It's just a sentence or two of words for you that don't really have any of the meaning or convey anything. But there we go. There's something I don't usually talk about. Um, oh, did I go through all the messages? I guess they said 23. Was this 23 messages we just got through? Well, why would anyone not? I wonder, does it randomize them, or is it always the same 23 messages? Yeah, well, so the thing is, for the most part, I am a person who interacts with the world as I see it around me, and I operate within the same reality that everyone else operates within, obviously, like through the lens of my own personal bias and experiences and so on. Um, but there's a little part of me underneath all of that cannot and will not let go of magic. Um, and I am careful about talking about that, because you have to be careful when you talk about something like that. You have to be careful who you say it to and how you say it. You have to couch it in all sorts of comforting layers of protection to reassure the other person that they don't need to be concerned about you. And you also can't let yourself fall into it, because when that happens, it's really bad. It does not ever go well. But that's why I can't. That's why I can't play horror games or read horror books, or just that's why I can't consume horror, because it's always real to me on some level, um, which isn't really fun. Like, I think a lot of people find horror like this fun pretend, where it's like you're basically like cosplaying being scared. Like you put on like play acting, I guess, at being scared, playing pretend, and then you turn the lights on and it all goes away. Like it was just an act for everybody. We're just pretending to be scared, pretending to believe it's real, but actually we truly in our heart of hearts do not. I don't have that. So even if something does not seem as immediately terrifying, like that's the thing is, that's why like jump scares aren't my fear. Like jump scares might annoy me, but they don't generally work on me especially much. Like people would be like, "Oh, you'd be fine with this creepy scary thing because it doesn't have any jump scares." Or they'll be like, "I don't know how you'll be with this one. It's not really scary, but it has jump scares." I'm like, "I don't care about jump scares, because for me, horror isn't the immediate experience. Horror is the nightmare lurking in my mind for the rest of my life under the surface, waiting to be pulled out, because I cannot ever truly look it in the face and say, 'You are false.'" So, which is why, like, when we had the whole conversation with this game about magic realism and how magic imbued in the real world feels very natural to me, and so that's how I write, and where that magic realism and magic of fantasy, that difference is, and why I fall into one section more than the other, and why I have such strong opinions, and why I gravitate towards having magic just naturally imbued in the world around you, is because there is a part of me that is not closed off to that, and that maybe I could close that door, but I don't want to, for better or for worse. I don't know that it's ever done anything good for me. I think or else it has done everything good for me. But I won't close the door, so I just have to accept the consequences of it. Um yeah, well, but it's, you see, you would say that, Blue Glass, but when I talk to people about why I don't like horror, we have we have to go on the serious back and forth, because I tell people I don't play horror games. Because I get a lot of recommendations for games to play, which I appreciate. It's kind of how I come to know games like Talos Principle. I would never have even known that game existed, except that people were like, "No, really, Lauren, we think you'll like it," and they were right. It's amazing. Um, but so I appreciate that. But I have to do a lot of going back and forth on why horror is not okay to determine if something's something that I can handle. Um, because most people don't understand what I can or can't handle, or what is or isn't terrifying in a way that's going to be a big problem for me. Like psychological horror, existential dread, um, like if there's a certain kind of darkness and because I can't ever fully disbelieve in like the demons, that they're never quite not real to me. I have to occasionally I have to read a summary, a very high level summary of something, to satisfy a degree of curiosity, so that I can't to like understand it and then keep safe, kind of like an inoculation against it. Um, yeah, Chunky, that sounds like magic realism, and also probably really scary. One of the things that so I have a lot of opinions about horror games and survival horror games. When I worked at GameStop, I sold so many copies of Silent Hill, uh, because you want to know your enemy. So just as I like when everyone was talking about the movie Midsummer, which is a really interesting cultural phenomenon, and there's a lot going on about that. Like some people are like, it's a breakup revenge movie, and other people are like, actually it's kind of about how white supremacy preys on people who have traumatic experiences. And I was like, okay, I want to understand I want to understand this part of the discourse, but I will never I will never watch a scene from that movie. So I read a really, really high level summary of it. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I didn't dig any deeper. I would really like, both Get Out and Us are really interesting to me, but I'm afraid that they would be more, um, than I can, like more than that. And that was pretty like, whew, I need to put that aside for a while. But those two are really like, because the thing is, so many good stories are being told through horror. Like there are so many story driven games. People are like, Lauren, when are you going to play The Last of Us? Sorry, folks, I'm not going to. Um, but it's a shame, because like I know that there's a lot of things that people can say and do with like zombie stories. There's a lot you can do with that, and I've had people explain kind of bits and pieces of the story that they think I would like, since obviously I'm never going to play it. And Get Out and Us sound like they're some of like the most like profound and important pieces of film that have been created any time recently. And I'm really thrilled that they exist, and also frustrated that there are so many good things that I can't consume that are horror. And on one hand, um, yeah, no, fortunately, people don't pressure me to play horror. They pressure me to consume comedy. Which is why I tell people I don't have a sense of humor, because that shuts that down, because that is one case in which people will start getting really argumentative. But it's more socially acceptable to not like horror. People might not understand it, so there's kind of some pushback there. But they have an easier time of accepting and respecting that. So when it comes to Get Out and Us, the reason why horror is the way that so many of these really important art, like pieces of art, are being explored, is because they are commenting on truly horrific things happening in the real world, that if you can put that there are a lot of people who are like, it's not so bad, it's not so bad, it's not so bad, and kind of put this veneer of decency and safety and complacency and stuff around it, so that they don't have to deal with it. Basically, like it's like a the creation of a pearl, right? It's this grit of sand, but if we just put enough stuff around it, it won't be irritating. It'll be safe. It'll be fine. That it doesn't go away. And so I feel like the horror being so prevalent now as this truly artistic medium. Part of it is purely practical because I've done some reading into why this is, and as a writer myself and a storyteller, I find it interesting, like why are so many good stories horror, and part of that is because people will go out and see horror, so you there are people who are like, oh, I won't watch that science fiction or fantasy thing. Or like, oh, I won't watch this genre, I won't watch that genre. But like everybody will watch horror. Like if you're like an artistic person, you can accept that there are artistic horror. And if you're like a like woo, I like crazy entertainment and stuff, you can be like, oh yeah, horror has crazy entertainment. Like it's very accessible on a number of levels, and people will accept it like on high level, like highbrow and lowbrow, like horror. Like there's a place for it. So it will get made. It is a financially viable direction to take things, so people will take an idea that they want to do and make it horror so that it can be made as a movie, which is kind of a shame that that's like the commercially viable option, because I cannot consume it. It's kind of like an allergy where it's like, man, everybody loves this food and I can't have that food. But also I think that we are at a point where people who have historically and traditionally been forced into horrifying realities are now able to have their voices heard, and so they use the medium of horror to communicate those horrifying realities in a way that people who have been looking away from the horror cannot look away from the horror. So I think that it's kind of a convergence of all of those things. It's fascinating, very interesting. I think it's super cool, and I'm also really sad that there's all this really, really important work out there that I can't consume. Like I was really glad that I could Black Panther existed, because I was like, cool, this is a superhero movie that's digging into really like important real world stuff and having a huge influence and impact on people who need that representation and that empowerment. And it's in a medium I can actually engage with. This is great. So that was good. I liked that. But obviously these things don't need to cater to me, so they can go on and continue making really socially important, artistically powerful horror movies, and that's fine. They can do that. But yeah, so Silent Hill, I sold a lot of copies of Silent Hill because you know a thing when you really have to avoid it, you really have to know where and how to avoid it. And I like once saw a screenshot from a Silent Hill game from like a review in a magazine and had nightmares. So I was like, yeah, I won't be playing that. But like Resident Evil is either campy or dumb or both, or not scary. Like Resident Evil 4 isn't scary. I watched my ex-husband play through like the entire game twice. And as he put it, like, you're this like totally ripped like Italian underwear model who can suplex a zombie. Why would anything about the situation be scary? Which is true. Like I think that contributes to it. So I don't find the Resident Evil games, I find them kind of unsettling. And so when you play games like Onimusha, which Onimusha was originally supposed to be survival horror, and you can feel that in the older Onimushas, which like, yes, I watched him play the entire Onimusha series as well. There are parts in it where I'm like, oh, I didn't really need to see your torture doctor doing his thing. Thanks. Did not need that in my brain. But by and large, like, that's not horrifying. Yes, and then Resident Evil 5 has a dude punching a boulder, which like takes it another step further. So I don't really like, I'm not like, oh, Resident Evil, you want a truly scary experience, that's the way to know. But I'd be like, yeah, so you want something that will scare the pants off you, and this is like, you know, the like early to mid 2000s, you should play the Silent Hill series. And you should play I'd heard good things about Fatal Frame at the time, but Silent Hill was the one, because Silent Hill is all about psychological issues, and that's really cool. That's really cool. Like the fact that the horror in it is like the horror of you, or the horror of your mind, that it's all about people confronting like their worst selves, and are you the real monster all along, which is kind of like the traditional horror trope that, like, you know, it turns out that mankind, the humans, are the monster after all. it's a conversation worth having over and over and over again. Um, Anyway, that's a tangent. Wow. I don't even know how we got on that tangent, but we did. Oh, we were talking about magic, right? We were talking about magic and not the gathering. Um, I actually use the term faith magic to refer to when I talk about magic because otherwise people think I'm talking about throwing fireballs. So, David Lynch. I hear that name a lot. Is that Twin Peaks? Which I didn't realize was surreal, semi-supernatural horror until recently. I just knew that I didn't watch it because I don't watch television. And then somebody was talking about it in the context of horror, and I was like, wait, what? Because I just assumed it was like The Office or Parks and Rec or Community or something like that, because those were all these shows that came out roughly in the same period. And I don't know if they're actually the same period or not. But I just thought, I was like, okay, it's just one of those shows. And then it's like, no, it's actually not. And I was like, wait, what? What? So I've been told that it is a little much for me, but that if people were to show me specific episodes of it, I would probably like it. So, but people have a really hard time understanding what I can and can't handle. Like the ending, that final section of Night in the Woods. Yeah, it was really good though. It's really good. I love his neon shorts and hoodie combination. I have never, I think absolutely nothing about any of those. Those are movies, right, Blues? I think those are movies. I don't think I'm familiar with any of them. I've heard the names. Eraserhead sounds like a horror movie. But maybe there's like a something else head that's a horror bad guy. Pinhead? Is that a horror bad guy? Or is that like a Batman villain? I could go either way. Really? You can't tell me I'm wrong. At least Batman's villains are less dumb than Iron Man's largely are. Or Spider-Man. Man, Tony Stark and Conway could hang out because they share the same ultimate villain. See, look at this. I'm bringing it back here. Wait, is Hellraiser the one that's magic realism also? Is that... No, that's Hellboy. That's Hellboy, right? That's the one with the fairies and Guillermo del Toro, and people are like, Lauren, you might actually be able to watch a Del Toro movie? Okay. Okay. All right. So as you can tell, if something like even like gives a whiff of horror, I'm like, let's keep it over there until we know that it's safe. Okay, so David Lynch is probably not for me, which is generally the impression I've gotten. But a lot of my friends whose taste I do tend to understand think he's really great. Okay, well, maybe I will actually watch Hellboy. A friend years ago tried to convince me because I was like, it's going to be like Spawn or something. And she was like, no, it's not. It's not. So. Oh, I've seen the 80s Dune movie. Oh, that's a weird... That... Oh. Oh. Oh, that's... There were some decisions were made in that movie. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Ezra is totally gonna rat him out. Either way, either good stuff or medicine, Shannon would know what he means there. Still thirsty. Yeah. This is like there's so much what's the word? What am I looking for? When you say something it's not what you mean. You use a nice phrase. Euphemistically. Euphemism. There's euphemistic conversation happening here. Yes. I got there eventually. I was like, it begins with an E. I know this word. Oh, well. Well. Also, don't keep soda next to bleach. That's a really bad idea. Bring a flashlight, indeed. Oh, Shannon. Oh, Shannon. She's just kind of accepted. She's like, yeah, this is happening. It's not really anything we can do about it. Every single one, yeah. Oh, well, he's such a caretaker. It's a very good exchange. Yeah. Will is like the like last priest of a dying faith, taking his responsibility seriously. That's the kind of feel, the kind of dude. Oh, I guess the Jedi don't have revenge or whatever. Do you see this cat? I'm leaning over here so you can see this cat. Oh, she's so cute. Don't you see how cute she is? Don't you just want to snuggle her? Baby cat. She's a kitty meow. She's a kitty meow. Eventually, we will get. Oh, good. Excellent. Oh, I will look forward to seeing your kitty because kitties. Everyone who has a kitty, their kitty should be celebrated. And even if you don't have a kitty, we'll celebrate you. Purple face. We'll celebrate you. So, like, Ezra, it's really interesting. Like, it keeps, like, all of my options for Ezra have to do with whether he's looking for his family or not. Like, pretty much everything. And it's funny. Is he wearing a suit and tie? He's wearing a suit and tie, guys. Do you see that? He's got, like, a little itty bitty 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 tie. I think. It's like a little pink tie. And he's, like, standing like a very serious man. You little man. Yes, he's a small man. I also really love the overalls that are not overed. Overalls are apparently back in now. Apparently, I almost bought a pair. I totally ordered some clothes online because, look, I like clothes. And what am I gonna do in a pandemic to get some control over my life? Well, I'm gonna bake a lot and I'm gonna buy some clothes. I did comment on that the other time. All right, Blue Glass. Well, good job, pass, Lauren. I'm high-fiving you through time and space. Like, when he isn't in my control, he like makes a big deal about his bird brother, which is, I don't know if we're gonna explain that or not. So the thing with this game is that, like, I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe they're just not going to explain anything. And then when I say that, they're like, actually, there are grow lamps for the sunflowers, and it's very unusual and not easy to have sunflowers down here. I was like, well, fine, show me up, like, show me for talking too soon. I was wrong. Yeah, I like that though. I like that it feels like things might just not be explained, and that's okay. I think that's fine. I think I'm okay with lots of not being explained. I think. Had to think about that. There were some times playing this game that I was like, I would like something more to hold on to. But I think I'm okay with that. I think for me the hardest thing with this game, and actually part of why I had to step away from it, I think, was the emotional distance from the characters, because it's really uncomfortable. And it's supposed to be like, this game is definitely intentionally keeping them at a distance, or keeping you rather at a distance from them, and to some degree keeping them at a distance from each other. It all makes sense as a play, you know. It feels like a play in the way that it's written, like the way that the dialogue is. It's just a little stilted, or very, very stilted, which is fine. Stilted, for me, when I'm talking about stilted dialogue, is not actually necessarily an insult. Like, it's more stylized than stilted. It's very stylized dialogue. Like, Will has a very... I think we discussed this at a previous time. Will kind of talks like if I didn't hate movies, brothers, sass. They did a movie or two that I liked. I'm gonna get there. The Coen brothers, yes. Because the other siblings that come to mind are the Matrix, and they're very different. So, no, the Coen brothers, that's it. Will kind of has some of that patter, very, very southern. Um, I'm going to continue to play at Ezra with friends. Very helpful. Yeah. Wait, am I getting my characters confused? Who are you going to call? God, Will is tall and stands awkwardly like a model. Oh, that's rough. Okay, Blue Glass. Yeah, because since it's been so long since I played this game, I was like, am I misremembering? But I guess. Okay. I thought I'd done a good job of refreshing my brain on the main characters, but I've apparently missed something here. I love this. How like this cooking show devolves into what is clearly yeah. Here we go. Oh. Oh, that's a moment of revelation. The phone line makes a horrible sound. What a time for that. Too distracted or whatever. Oh man. I'll pick this one. She's like, no thanks. Hmm. Oh, no. Oh my god. Okay. Specifically a tugboat captain? That's actually hilarious. I think that's very funny anyway. Yeah, this seems to be like what Shannon would say. Commentary. Commentary. Yeah, it is really interesting how things have gotten. I don't have the words. But like the thought that we will schedule your C-section that you don't need because we want to put you on a timeline to have it be predictable so that it's like um uh that it can be cog in a machine, predictable. What am I trying to say here? I think what I'm trying to say is that there's this focus on like productivity. I don't know if procedural, just like you have these boxes and these roles and all of these things, and they have to be executed the way they're supposed to, and you can only put so much time into this and so much time into that. Yeah, I think maybe industrialized capitalism is, it's really the heart of where we're going with this, is I think. um let's hear how everything, how's that fit with the tugboat captain. Oh yeah, I've heard water is more comfortable with that. See, but not just that, Deep Shock, because I mean, like if we're talking about men taking control over women's lives, I mean, yes, that is an issue. But and I've heard apparently that can happen really badly. Like if a woman becomes pregnant, sometimes a man who's kind of like sort of kind of red flaggy suddenly like something like a switch flips. Um, but no, like there's something about the way that the system is made. No, not regimented, because regimented is not a value judgment. Regimented is just like everything has its way of doing things, and I'm actually making a value judgment here, which is that like they're trying to make humans not human basically, because being human is all messiness and unpredictability. You can't put humanity on a timeline. You just can't, like we're mushy gushy flawed creatures who have subjective needs that can't be reasoned away. You can't reason or structure your way to the perfect efficiency of existence when you have humans. Like that's just, you can try, but you're gonna just grind people to dust, putting them in the gears of your machine, trying to make things work um, efficiently as they should. Like that's just not, it's just not how it works. You can't quantify everything. So I actually don't know if that's anything. Like that's just, I'm just gonna say the things that my head says when I read the things. I mean, people are just born all the time. Yeah. Mm. Oh, that's a good point. Stolen light. Yeah. Ooh, this is a pretty place. Oh, nice. Nice is such a word. Oh, that's not good. Oh. Uh oh. Oh dear. Yeah, no, it is really shocking. Even though like it's like loud and you can see like an air conditioning unit and it feels really crowded and cramped, there's something really really reassuring about actual sunlight. Like I don't know that we've seen sunlight like literally anywhere else in the game. Mm. Hmm. It's always interesting to me when people refer to their parents as mother or father. It's very formal. Wow, that's actually kind of beautiful. Hmm. Hmm. Paper? Oh my. I don't even know. So Brandon is new here. Oh no. Oh no. Oh baby, boo. No. No. With the leg, yeah, so people can see the leg. Hmm. You know how it is. Oh, that's interesting. Let us answer the phone. All right, Shannon, what's up? Man, I love like Carrington. Okay, first of all, he's clearly outrageously tall because he has to bend over to get into the phone booth. And he's leaning into the phone booth while still holding his antlers. Oh my gosh, I want him to be some sort of weird forest spirit. I think that would be incredible. Um, Deep Shock, I really want to. I do not have the ability to play it right now, so I'm probably gonna wait a year or whatever until it comes out on Steam. But I very much want to play it. I really do. So it will happen. I'm really excited about it. My sister's really mad about it, but I think I'm gonna be happy. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. Is that you? Um, there. That is amazing. He's like, I was trying to call someone completely different, but I got you instead because the phone line just made that happen. Well, obviously that's plausible. Hmm. That's okay. Mm. Good theater is always dangerous. Notice that he's at hard times and they've got the glowy skeleton. The death of the hired man. We can have theater without props, without stage setting, without actors. Do we need an audience? Light! I'm pretty sure that there are people who would disagree with that. But that is very interesting. Mm. Oh man, I really like this one. I actually like all of these answers, but I like this one. Thanks, Carrington. Uh, you have an availability. In other words, he asked because you were there. Mm. This is, for all that Carrington is that kind of artiste in some ways, this is not a bad point. And it's actually something I've been struggling with for the past few years. Is at some point I realized I I didn't want to simply let life happen to me anymore, which is like the most cliche thing in the world. But I was talking to my friend, catching up, because I hadn't really talked to her a whole lot the past few years, um, and she was like, "Yeah, didn't you kind of like start having adventures when you went to grad school?" I was like, "Yes." And then since then, it's like opportunity. I will try to take this opportunity. I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off. It may or may not work, but I spent so long closed off from risk, which also means being closed off from opportunity. It's very common. And it is interesting through this game to be exploring that on top of everything else it's digging into. Hmm. I once happened to meet. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. It's funny because she takes it as an insult that you're here. And he's like, no, you are willing to answer this question. You are willing to entertain my curiosity and come up with however half-hearted a response. Not everyone would do that. So it's actually praise. It's interesting. All right, buddy. Carrington. More delicate synthesizer music. This doesn't sound super delicate, so I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit in my ears. I needed to be able to hear the voices. But it's got to feel pretty cool to have your voice in a game like this. Ah, the acoustic guitar. Hmm. Young Earl. Huh. This is the sort of folk country legend. Oh my god, the unyielding disposition of a cliffside. I wish I could write like that. Flood seam. That's interesting. The it looks a lot like ribs in the tunnel here. You know? We just went on the left side earlier, but distance and direction has no meaning here, really. What is this? Oh no. Hi Gundy, but yes, we are back. I'm gonna I'm gonna see it through to the end. I want to know what happens. I want to see if there is any hope in this game, or to sit with its feelings. I want to see the places. I want to see more places and more people. Even though I should probably try to get to know the ones that I have better. But this is what I'm doing. The Radvansky Center to make some quick cash. That sounds like gambling, which is a very, 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 very bad idea in this game. Good morning. Oh, baby. Oh. Such wildly different responses. Ha. Tomato juice. Does anyone here like to drink tomato juice? Apparently people do. Oh no! You don't even remember that. Hmm. Oh goodness, exit interviews, all right. Hold on just a sec. I have to get the dust out of my computer a little bit so it'll stop sounding like it's trying to take off because it's overheating. I just cleaned it out yesterday, but there's a lot of dust that accumulates in this apartment, so I gotta get the dust out. Yep, let's do that. Come on, dust. Come on, dust. Then my computer will stop sounding like it's taking off. Yes, good, that's it. Just wads of dust just coming right off. Cool. Very good. Very good. I don't know that I'm doing this the way I should be doing it, but it's what I've got. It's what I'm doing. Alright. Okay. I'll run the tape. You interpret the questionnaire and I'll type it up. This is weird. Ah! Shannon. Oh no, piles. I like the comfortable familiarity of these characters. What even is that? So this is being viewed from some reasonably far point in the future. The redesign. Huh. I could sit in the chair. I could look at everything. I'm gonna try to do everything. And the game's gonna be like, no, you can't do that. Oh my gosh. It is interesting viewing her entirely from somebody else's perspective. And the way the light shifts. Because you'll note we were... Are you? Oh, she was sleeping. We were just talking about lighting in plays. I'll notice, like, watch the lighting here. And then watch the lighting here. And if you've been to a play, think of plays. Yeah? You see it? Sure, let's write a letter. Hey, slow brother, what's up? Feels like it's been a bit. Oh gosh. This is a narrative exploration game that thinks it's an adventure game about very heavy subjects placed in a magic realism context. Permissive. Oh. Well, just like the way that it communicates where like your attention should go, that lighting is very, 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 very theatrical. And the fact that Carrington just talked about that like 5 minutes ago. Maybe less if you aren't Lauren talking. Precarious. Working class, also known as precarious. Ouch. Huh. Oh, do they know Weaver? They know Weaver, they have to know Weaver. That's what it is, it's Weaver. Oh, I should have explored that area more. Oh well. I will look at everything. Those creepy distillery guys, yeah, they can tell. Thanks, Gundy. Former intern. Everybody has interns. So Ezra's gonna just hang out with Conway and be like, Mister, you're half skeleton. And Conway's like, I'm gonna drunkenly ramble about something. Noble assignment. That's a funny phrase. That sounds like Weaver TV. Oh no. I bet this is based on how things actually are. Oh my god. Like, yeah, sure, we'll purchase every possible radio station, but we'll throw you this bone and fund NPR, I guess. It is really unsettling and uncomfortable how Clear Channel took over the radio in the US. And I know that it's not just the radio, and I know that they have very particular political leanings. Um, it's interesting, really uncomfortable. I was really excited actually. A few nights ago, I couldn't sleep, um, and Sophie jumped around my bedside table like cats do, and turned on my alarm clock's radio, because it's a clock radio, because it's old. I've had that thing for like, 15 years or something like that. Um, and I don't remember how to turn it off, so the volume is just down. It's been on for like, I don't know. Maybe I managed to turn it off. I don't know. But there was this radio playing, this radio station that was like some weird, it was like 2 in the morning. Some girl in Toronto had a show where she would play this like shoegazy type music and like sometimes like synthwavy type music, and then like do a little tarot reading and joke awkwardly about her friend in the other room who was supposed to have her own radio station or her own radio show starting the next week, and neither one of them had any presence at all on air. Um, and I went and looked this girl up and followed her on Twitter because I thought that this was such an entertaining and surreal. It was a very Kentucky Route Zero experience, to be honest. And I loved it. And I didn't even know that that was still around. Like, I mean, I knew that there's like small independent radio stations online, but I am just so used to the big channels being all you can access on the actual radio, and I haven't used an actual radio in a long, long, long time, partly because of this. Um, yeah, I think Gundy butts onto it. I used to screen your videos. Uh, mm, okay. Yeah, see, like a weird, awkward tarot girl talking to her barely audible roommate about radio stations while playing really weird music that I don't know how to classify it, that could fit right in with this. The flood. What's the deal with the flood? We just heard about the flood. Okay, Jen, what are you gonna guess? Oh, this. Yeah, yeah. That sounds very Weaver. Oh man. It is interesting hearing the VCR. And that's one of the options that you have in the saves. One of your saves is a VCR VHS tape. Oh man. What is it? There are 3 lights. I'll go with 3 shelves. We go with museum. I remember circles. Vacuum tubes. Yeah, no, that is very, very careful and intentional. Hi, Nez. What's up? Do I call you Nez? Is that an acceptable name choice here? Lighting. There's a lamp and an overhead light. Just kind of dim. At least I'm not below average. Oh, it has 4 shelves if you count the top. Well, that's alright. What do I know? Wait, what is this? Why is there suddenly... Guys... This is the desk that I was just sitting at, maybe. No, this is the next. This is the next desk. Okay. Can I walk through into this room? Will it let me? No. No, it won't. Okay. Just tracking the time. Guava. Kinda. Yeah, I was gonna say the inside is different. Oh my gosh. Okay, look. Portal's a really good game. I think that's what you're referencing there. Well done, Jen. Jen is doing sociology. This is fun. No, prickly pear is super sweet. I'm trying to remember what I think of guava. I don't go out of my way to eat it. It's not like mango, which I will just eat mango literally everything. This sounds right. Memory degradation. Like someone else already forgot them for you. Oh, that's excellent. Poor Daryl. Wonder if it's different depending on which painting you talk to. Oh my god, is that a cat? Yes. Yes, it is. It's a cat. Aww. Aww. Oh my gosh, kitty. Oh my gosh. So, one of my friends who has 20-something cats because he and his family rescue kittens, posted a video of one of his cats talking, and I started playing it, and Sophie was like, she had been curled up, and then she was just like, what, and like him bounding over, looking extremely concerned, staring at my phone, like, what? It was very cute. Cats are so good. I want to go touch the cat. Can I pet the cat? Why are there gates? There being gates is uncomfortable. Hello, kitty. Okay, I can't. I don't get to pet the kitty. But she looked at the kitty. People have this weird sauntering way they walk sometimes in this game. Maybe I'm biased because I don't walk using my hips very effectively, but there's this kind of like sachet. Okay, so I've picked up that. Going where I'm not... Oh, wait. I guess I'm supposed to fill out the paperwork. I picked up the thing. Oh, was that cat food? I couldn't tell. I thought it might be like a box with a ring in it. Oh, yes. Oh. Oh, baby. Oh my gosh. Weird video art. I'm really curious about that. It's nobler to feed kitties. I want to know about the weird video art. I'm intrigued. Okay. I gotta look around the room. Everything here is blocked off with like canvases, like sets, because it's all a big play. And this would be what you would paint for your backdrop, is what this is. Oh, that's right. I did actually eventually give FlutyBot the ability to have uptime. Before the CD players. That's cute. Mixtapes are, Huh. Huh. So once again, we've got a bunch of students. We've got the people at the university recording sounds. Like, I mean, I don't know whether any of this is ever going to get tied together, but these are like elements, again, that Weaver's parents connect to. Worried about Conway. Oh, man, I lived in an apartment complex, very, very, very small complex that had these storage closets in the laundry room. Mine didn't lock. So the only thing I kept there was when I had the pieces of the bunk bed that I stuffed the giant pieces because, like, good luck sneaking away with the giant pieces of my wooden bunk bed disassembled. Oh, I was about to have a moment. That's interesting. These questions are maddening. Let's go with this. University politics are a thing. This is so weird. This is such a strange and surreal thing. It's like, is this science that they're doing? Is this weird experimental art? He looks rugged. Yeah, like the relationship between these two. Hmm. 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 Everything in this game seems so incredibly disconnected. See it, but yes, that's right, Sophie. Yeah. Sophie has thoughts and feelings about this too. Yeah, like so everything in this game, like so much of it feels unexplained and untethered and different that to have this extremely strong connection between these random people where I'm like, this isn't going to have any significance. This isn't going to tie to anything. These are just random people. We're never going to know anything about them. They may not even be in the same reality, basically, as everything else. Like, I had just assumed it wasn't going to be anything. And then they drop this on you. Yeah, so if anybody misses this, sorry, I have to pet the cat. You know how it is. You have a cat. You pet that cat when your cat presents herself for petting, which she has done Sophie. By the way, has anyone here not met Sophie? Because I have played this game since getting Sophie, right? Or have I not? Is this the first stream of Kentucky Route Zero since I got Soph? How many weeks were we off? I don't know. Anyway, this is Sophie. She's my new cat. I have had her in my life now for a month. And she's a good girl. As you can tell, she's very small and very, very squeaky, and I like her a lot. She's a good kitty. Okay, this is the first time I've streamed this with Sophie. Yeah, because I took like 2 weeks off of Twilight Princess, I think. Which means I must have taken off more than that with this. Anyway, so this is Sophie. Well, for those of you joining us for the first time, or who haven't watched my Twilight Princess streams or hung out with me on social media, because I've tweet a lot of photos of this girl. Because I mean, look at her. Can you see? Can you see? Hold on, I gotta make sure that you guys can see this kitty. You can see her, right? Do I need to scoot the camera over? Look at this cat. Look at this cat. Also, hi, Demi. Do you see the baby? Do you see the little baby? What a good baby, Sophie. Sophie. Did you see? Did you see her yawn? Did you see her yawn? Did you see the little paw and the little mouth? Baby cat. Who's a meow 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 meow? Who's a meow 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 meow? Meow 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 meow. That's my little girl. Hello, Sophie. So yeah, shortly before everything shut down, like I think 3 days before, 3 days before the animal shelter, the local shelter closed to the public, I had a whole weekend that I spent trying to find and get a cat, and it was kind of a comedy back and forth and back and forth. Because like we went like an hour out on transit to try to go to this other place, and it was really not a good fit, and they didn't have any cats. And then we went to the shelter that's like a block and a half from our house instead. And they were super understaffed. And they were like, okay, well, we have some cats, but you can't have an adoption interview because we are all full up on adoption interviews for today. So come back tomorrow. So I looked around at cats and was like, here are some good cats. And then we came back when they said to the next day and they were like, oh, okay, well, it is too early for you to see any of the cats. Like, you can't have any meet and greets with any of the cats that you saw yesterday because it is too early. We haven't opened up those rooms yet because we are understaffed. And we're like, okay. So we did a preliminary interview that was a whole thing. Where I was like, I don't want a cat that has a major health issue that I know of, and the lady thought was like that's really weird, cats get unhealthy, and I was like, yes. And so we had this uncomfortable moment where she could see, because there were cats that we were talking about me maybe having a meet and greet with, and they were like more special needs, like health wise, than I could handle, and I could see she was kind of getting uncomfortable. She's like, well, what is your deal? Why are you like, I don't want a cat that I know is going to have a major health, that has a high chance of having a major health issue. Like, basically she was like, what would it take? Like, what are you trying to avoid? What would make you bring the cat back? And I was like, no, you don't understand. I would never bring the cat back. But I just spent 2 years nursing dying cats. Or last year I just nursed 2 cats to death. Like, after 15 years of companionship, I had this like brutal, excruciating thing where for each of them, I was giving them like subcutaneous fluids, and one of them I was having to give her insulin for the last month and all this stuff. And the lady's eyes got big and she was like, oh, okay. So it's not that you don't want to commit to taking care of a cat's health issues. It's that you just had a really rough time and you want kind of like a break. You kind of want, if you can get it, easy mode for a little while. Have the good times of having a pet. And I was like, yes. And it was like this like total 180, and like the way that she was responding to me, like she was like bright and smiling and like, okay, that makes sense. That's great. I will without hesitation say you're approved to adopt a cat. And I completely understand your hesitation, because I think she thought that I was like, well, I want a cat, but I don't want it to be hard, and I want it to be expensive, and what if it gets sick? I don't want to deal with that. I was like, no, I will deal with it. No, like, I will deal with it no matter what, and I don't want to have to deal with it yet, because I will have to deal with it eventually. Oh, that's cute, Gandhi. You had a bunny come say hello to you. But yeah, no, Demiurgic Pen, I do respect and appreciate that she wanted to make sure that, because they want to make sure that people who get pets are prepared to have those pets. So it makes sense. But it was also such a disconnect that I really appreciate that she asked for clarification, because she was just like, something's going on. You talked about you've had cats. Cats are hard work. And I was like, that's why I'm like this. And then like we came back. As the thing is, like, they were like, okay, well, none of the rooms with cats in them are ready to be looked at. So if you come back in like 2 hours, you'll be able to like see the cats. So we came back in 2 hours and they were like, actually, no, we are all full up. You can't have any meet and greets with cats. And we're like, but you just. And then we mentioned, like, we had the interview, and they're like, oh, why didn't you just say so? If we can squeeze you in to have a meet and greet and adopt a cat, we'll call you. And they called me actually like an hour earlier than they'd said they were going to. So it all worked out. We like literally ran over there to the shelter, because I was like, I'm getting a cat today. And Sophie was the second cat that I had a meet and greet with, and was just such a good kitty. And she's been, like, the first day or two that I brought her home, the first few days, really, she was super clingy and super cuddly and snuggling on me, falling asleep on my lap, purring crazily. But she's got ear mites, and we didn't know that at the time. And so then as the ear mites have gotten worse and she's in more itchy, uncomfortable pain, she's gotten a little bit more standoffish. But as you can see, she's still not the most standoffish of cats. So anyway, that's Sophie. She's a good girl. She's somewhere between 1 year and 2 years old. I think she's She's not really a sleepy kitty, actually. She jumps around and plays and bounds, and like it's been a long time. Like I think she's closer to the 1 year end than the 2 year end because she has so much energy. She's kind of like a kitten. And if I feed her and then I don't play with her within like half an hour after that, she will start like crying because she's got too much energy and nothing to do with it. She'll keep me up at night sometimes because she's batting her toys around. If I get her this like new cone to keep her from scratching at her ears, I'm gonna get more toys so we can try to keep her entertained. She's a handful, and it's been such a long time since I had a young cat that I'm like, oh right, they're like this. Anyway, Sophie is a good cat. This game did what I didn't think it was going to do and actually connected this. Because a lot of the pieces don't, you know? A lot of the pieces don't connect to each other. And we also, like, didn't know how old he was. So knowing that I guess we knew that he was studying aviation. Because Conway talked about that, I think. Because he was like, this kid is great. Yeah. What happened to the TV station? Acts of God. Oh, was it the flood? Yes, that is what you call it. Which is really interesting to me. That's like the official terminology used on like insurance and things like that. That there's not a non-religious phrasing that we use. Yeah, yeah. See, it is actually. It is archaic. That is exactly what I was thinking. Then you get the foley of the paper turning. She repairs televisions. But I don't know. Yeah, using the terminology acts of God is it's an archaic type phrase because by and large, like, we don't that's not like that's like not what it means anymore. But I think it might have meant that when they first started using that phrase. Like now it just means unpredictable, uncontrollable, random occurrences that nobody could have predicted or prevented. Rather than like, I guess God did it. Oh, have they, demiurgic? Okay. Acts of nature kind of makes sense. But yeah, because I've seen it in I first saw it in insurance stuff and I was like, what? What? Okay. She watched them all. Hmm. Yeah, Weaver. Did she burn it down? Oh, no. That's cute, Gundy. Like an art project than a job. Phew. Did she just inhabit the television? Brisbane, thank you for following. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. But she totally did. Weaver totally showed up. Let's watch them all. I said I was going to, so I have to. Oh no. Bye, Deep Shock. Thanks for coming by. We'll see you around when you're free again. Oh, we'll be doing creative sprints tomorrow morning, by the way, folks. For any of you who are available and working from home or schooling from home and want to hang out, we will be doing that. She made a hum so sinister it drove our signal into hiding. Sinister hum. Anyway, have a good night and we'll see you later. All the videos are passing through doorways. I love that she could just be kind of like, I don't care. I'm not really paying attention. I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with this. I love how like none of my answers really matter. Some creepy captions. Weaver, what did you do? What did you do? I don't know, we'll go with the feather. Yeah. Seems like why Weaver is. I wonder if we're going to get more information, something more concrete. Maybe there will be some closure and definite information. So that would mean that Will knew what's his name? The roofer's son. Charlie. Will would have known Charlie then, potentially. It was night. It's always night. It went on for years. It's all just waves. Ooh. That's significant. It's the one last. Oh no, 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 not the fish tanks. Right before the flood. Huh. That's interesting. I wonder if we'll get to see. I could just not answer these if I wanted to. A paper butterfly. Huh. Oh my god, I've totally seen that. You know, you've seen that too. That's like a super generic. Like when the moment that she said it was a calendar called Best Friends, I was like, oh, it's the one with the animals. Oh man, is this gonna be someone we know? Oh, oh. There are so many interns. There are interns here. There are interns with um the adventure game. I did the unexpected. Kitty. 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 Oh my gosh. So we stole their cat. Cool. Wait. Hold up. No. Guys. 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 Conway is surrounded by them. No. That's not good. That's not good. Yeah. 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 Is there a word for that? Oh no. They just disappeared. They've got their hooks in Conway. And Wise Will. I guess they remembered his name. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that all these characters are together. Interesting, Chunky. Yeah, because they do name characters after historical game developers, so that does seem to be happening now, though, losing people that way. Well, that was a really interesting section of the game because, like, there's this, like, tedious and annoying interactive component where you're just like, oh my god, why am I doing this? But what you find out that's so interesting is nothing to do really with your primary cast responses to things or anything. The use of the word membrane here. to wreck microclimate. It's all these like just these like little things there where it stabs in a little bit of a knife. It's good. It's very well written. Very intentionally done. Here's Will giving us the tour of everything. What are these trees? I'm not gonna take a nap. Yeah, I thought it might be the girl in the puddles in the rain with Ezra. That's why I chose that instead of the close-up of the old man's face. Sorry, Conway. Ooh. This is pretty and kind of creepy, which I'm sure is the intent. Ooh, I really like this visual. I mean, trees, or something resembling trees. They may not actually be trees. Is that true? These angel wings? The whole thing. We have a mushroom hunter in our Discord community. Kate, please don't get my small child killed. Don't eat this one. Oh, man. That's amazing. Well done, Gundy Butt. That's one way of looking at it. First rule is ask Kate before eating anything. Alright, Kate. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jazz, this game got a lot of attention among the indie scene. As far as I can tell, it's kind of been... all the indie game devs are in love with it a little bit. Oh, I love indies. he burned down his house? This game has some of the most fascinating storytelling approaches I've ever seen in a game, because you couldn't have this experience in a non-interactive medium, which is really fascinating. Like, it's like I like to talk to people about how Gone Home, for all that it's a narrative exploration game, could not have been anything but an interactive medium. And I'm honestly, personally fine with games that are very linear experiences. So that's not a problem, but I do like it when I'm like, the interactivity here is really significant in some way, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, and then they threw in some gameplay for me to poke around until I got to the next story scene. Like more like, I'm trying to think of how exactly to say it, but I really want to play Nier Automata. That's on my list. That's on my list. Would that be a good Thursday game, do you guys think? Would that be a better Thursday game than a Tuesday game? Because I've been thinking about it. I kind of want a JRPG that'll make me cry. Well, it depends on how you define how you define gameplay, Jazz. Like the fact that you walk around and interact with things on your own pace, and interact with different items in a different order and have to actually manually explore things is gameplay. And it's not, you're not like you're not just reading a book in which a series of things happen and you follow what the narrator or narrative gives you. You, through playing the game, uncover things in an order, and the game guides and shapes your expectations of what's going on and your interpretations of things and your feelings. Like, it actually reaches through and shapes you through giving information, doling out information in a certain way. And you wouldn't have had that. Like, the closest you could get in a book would be something like an Agatha Christie type thing, where you're trying to basically sort of gameplay a book. And so it really feels like you couldn't have, like, what makes Gone Home so effective is not that it is telling a queer story, although I think that is really great. I think it does a really good job of capturing an experience and a time and a place in history that in reality that hadn't really been explored so much. What I think makes Gone Home such an effective thing, and that's fine. Like, narrative exploration games aren't for everyone either. There's a reason why people use walking sim as a pejorative. But Gone Home, yeah, like you're a librarian, like Ashley is saying, part of what's so effective about Gone Home is those interactive moments. Like the way that the characters develops. Like, one of my favorite moments is when your character that you're playing as, who doesn't have like a voice, but when she picks up something that she realizes is the smut her sister is writing, I think, and she puts it down, and when you try to pick it up again, she won't. She's just like, no, not reading that again, and she won't. And that is such for me, a really effective moment. It's hilarious. It's character development. I thought that was a very, very funny game. A very, very funny game, which had, heartbreak in it. Like, it dealt with a lot of serious stuff, and it did a really good job with that, but it was also really funny. And then they did interesting things with interactivity in Tacoma, which is the same. That's Fulbright. Is Fulbright working on? Have they announced their next game? Because I want it. Also, how would you guys feel about Nier Automata after this, and maybe with a light-hearted game like Wander Song in the middle? Tacoma is an outstanding game. You want to talk about hitting close to home, though? I don't know that I could handle Tacoma right now. It's really good, though. So I really like indie games. Like Tacoma was a really powerful experience. Gone Home was a really powerful experience. Night in the Woods is fantastic, but if you're like gameplay, it's like I guess you jump around and talk to people and you try to talk to more people by jumping more places, but that's the entirety of the gameplay. But I think it's fantastic. Tuesday, we still got some Zelda ahead of us. I'm looking forward to getting to know these characters a bit more. So I guess if you know things about mushrooms, you can be like, oh, these are the mushrooms that she's getting. But see, it's not interactive story. Like, interactive fiction is a separate thing altogether. And I mean, we can get really esoteric and like, how does one define a game? How does one define gameplay? And like, you do get things like when you have like a visual novel or interactive fiction or a narrative exploration game, like there are blurry lines between those. It's not super clear. We are talking about genre again, Gundy, but except this time we're talking about game genres instead of fiction genres. We're branching out. Oh, that's Sayonara Wild Hearts. I don't know. I've heard people talk about that game. God, there are so many good games out there that I really want to play. I still need to play, speaking of visual novels, I don't even know if it's as much of a visual novel. I still need to play Heaven Will Be Mine, which I haven't yet. I still need to play it. There's just lots of good games. Disco Elysium, I'm really intrigued by, but I know that it's also heavy. I'm sorry, folks. You're here to watch me play this game, and this game is doing a really interesting story thing here that I'm really enjoying, and I think is really cool. And I'm literally like, the thing is, I've never seen anyone do things like this before. I've never seen a game. I've never seen a game do this with its narrative before. I've never, ever. Like, I mean, even just the you choose what happened, what your characters did by responding, what characters who are observing or discussing from the future. Like, this, the whole way that it messes with time. And yeah, I mean, obviously I can't do horror games, so yeah, there's a lot of text in this, so thank you guys for bearing with me as I stream this. But I feel like Lauren streams Kentucky Route Zero is like a niche thing. Like Final Fantasy and Zelda and stuff, like, I'm still like, you have to be a person who's willing to deal with a certain amount of random tangents and things like that, because Lauren gonna Lauren. But I feel like this is like, you guys, and maybe there's people on YouTube, hi YouTube, who have the patience for me doing this, but it's yeah, just things. Well, but I mean, like, what we're talking about here is not just me talking about other games that I want to stream, but we are talking about like the narrative decisions and the like interactivity of this game and other games that that play with narrative and interactivity in ways that maybe we could try to compare this to. But again, I've never seen anything like this. I'm really fascinated. Like, I want to know what went into making the decisions that they did, design-wise, narrative-wise, with this. Gundy Bud, is that an Arrested Development reference? Yeah, well, because like, even just like the fact that it's presented like a play and what that means emotionally and interactively wise is fascinating. But like, I had gotten to the point where I was like, oh, this is cool, they're making variations on it, and then like, what if we have two going on simultaneously? And I'm like, what? Magical thinking. caterpillars. I loved caterpillars when I was a kid. I wanted to know more about Ezra. So I'm glad to get to know more about Ezra. Oh no! No! That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound like a healthy caterpillar. Something's not right there. Oh no, Ezra ran away from his cold house and got lost in the woods while carrying a knife. Kate leaves the dirt. It could be molting. I don't know. There was the bird. Oh, the mind-controlling fungus. Oh, I've heard about that. That's terrifying. So he ran away from his cold house that is not a home, really. And there was the bird. I love that it just like ends with, and there was the bird. Oh, she did mention bitter hedgehog to the lady that she called. They should chew on it like bubblegum. After the work is done. Oh no, Jess. Did you seriously eat a mushroom you should not have as a child? That's intense. I'm glad you're okay. These are both really interesting and I want to know immediately. No, I believe you, Jazz. Just wow. Did you have to go to the hospital or did it kind of pass on its own? Mushrooms are serious. They are meant to be taken seriously. Wow. Okay, Jazz. Okay, everyone watching at home, be careful with wild mushrooms. Yeah. Mushrooms are fascinating though because they're not exactly plants, right? They're like more animal-like than plants, but not quite. If nobody's family, then everyone's family. Ha ha. I don't know what a clade is. That was not in my 7th grade biology class. Or if it was, I've since forgotten it. And biology is like the one science that I don't find interesting at all. And all my friends who were science people, like, other than the physicist, obviously, were like, what is wrong with you, Lauren, that you like literally every science but biology? Biology is so important and interesting. And I was like, no, it's just kind of gross and I don't like it. Yeah, taxonomy is fascinating. To be like, well, we thought they were the same because they kind of looked alike, but it turns out they have nothing in common. Oops. Let's ask about these trees. I mean, they did the best they could at the time. Cyprus. By someone who, I don't know. I wonder what it is a memorial to. Sorry, it's a mystery. It's homeopathic medicine and I are not friends. Ah, she found actual people who actually know. Oh my gosh. I don't want to miss this. Oh, I'll search for clues. Baby's crying. Or screaming. You hear them? Oh, monument! I want to know what the text says. I'm glad to know. X plus O. Wait, those are cats? Why are there so many cats? Okay, that is a cute name. The cats have their own barge. No, we're gonna meet somebody like Xavier and Olivia or something like that. I am way more delighted by that than I have any business being. That's a lot of cats. That could be Xerxes and Oliver. That's so many cats. So many cats. That's so many cats. I'm sorry, I'm just distracted by the cats. And here I was thinking I was being observant by noticing what I thought was crying babies. Practicing their tree trimming somewhere out of the way. That's really interesting. Oh, it's the battleship! Okay. Okay. Alarmed but not immediately concerned. Led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Poor dissociating child. Oh my god, the guy who eats military rations. I'm pretty sure we talked about this before. The cluttered place. That's such a name. Chorus and Muse. It's interesting that they couldn't hear it, but we could. Well, that was a lot. Like, I don't know about you, but I really want to know more about Ezra. And I know more about Ezra, and I'm uncomfortable about that. Like, they find their child passed out in the forest, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna go to the bus station now. Like, something's not right. Which, I mean, Kentucky Route Zero is kind of like something's not right, the game. Let's not yet go. Can I wait? Can I do anything? Yeah, no, like, it was like the dual storytelling was really cool. The few times that like the line is the same on both sides. Yes, their house is always too cold. Yeah, like, it's just really. And then to get a little bit of her story too, which I don't have the investment in her yet. Like, I'm like, oh, your story is interesting. And I'm kind of sorry that I didn't ask about her running away from home, because that would have been interesting and would have given me more detail. Whereas her talking about pregnancy and the hospital and stuff, I'm like, well, I kind of knew now that things to do with babies are her thing. Whereas, like, I want to know more about her story, like, earlier than that. Yes, well, when he talks about like their new neighbors, like it's not home, it's not his home, so he proceeds to do things with houses and homes, carrying people's houses back and forth with the bird. There was the bird. So I wonder if his parents leave him there and then he connects with the bird. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be anything moving. I bet that if you don't sit for 5 minutes talking about other random things, you don't get to see the barge. But I was talking about things, so I saw the barge, which was really cool and weird. So I think we've seen the weird thing that there is to see here. That was really interesting. And I assume that no matter what you choose, yeah, no one's family, everyone's family. I recently watched Paris is Burning with my roommate, because she was like, if you haven't seen this, you need to. And that makes you think about defining family. Yes, Jazz, this entire thing is supernatural. The ceremony. Lux. Oh my gosh. Which story do I want? Man, which story do I want? This is the most bizarre. That's cute. Oh man. Oh, definitely printing press and bicycle couriers. The efficient war robe. Oh my god. I don't know. I don't know. Oh. Oh, wait, no. Shannon and her friend, that's gonna be Conway? This is gonna hurt, isn't it? Oh, there's a telephone. Maybe we'll hear from, not Caravan, Caraway. What's his name? Not Connolly. Caro. Carrington, thank you. Mammoth Grease. Oh, that's right. This is Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride, the game. There's even a character named Will. Oh, really, Candy Butt? That's funny. Cool bat facts. I appreciate that. Oh no. Right, the power company. Scheduled early breakfast stop. Sam and Ida's. Okay. That's always fun. People are like, I don't know what to say about it, but you should see it. Am I moving? I want to see Cats, the musical movie, because it looks so bad and weird. My sister says that if I haven't seen it by the time I can get to Texas next, we'll watch it together. This is cool. What? Hold on. The flood. And Weaver gets progressively more panicked trying to send her message up until the flood. Yes? Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Conway, tread carefully. Yeah. Oh God, these are all good answers. Well, that is a hell of a thing. Conway awkwardly realizing, oh, her parents are among the 28. That's the flood that they keep talking about. Like everyone, because I just tend to assume that the different pieces are more disconnected than that, you know? That the different times and places are separate. So, wait, guys. Um, 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 guys? They waved! He waved back with his skeletal hand. Consolidated. Cool. Oh my God. It's just like, what? I have a feeling it'll all work out. Yeah, Conway is very much like given up on himself, that he's like, she could do something. Like, I really do feel like if the ending is Conway loses his soul to the distillery but the others go on, Conway would be like, okay, that's fair. He would have wanted, okay. Oh, Shannon. Oh, Shannon. Oh, Shannon. What was that? What was... No, what was that? What was that? What was that? What is that? What is that? It looks like a well? A door? There's writing on it. I want to see what it says, but I guess I don't get to. Oh, is that bat facts? I want to see the bat facts. Conway, let me see the bat facts. I want the bat facts. Okay, well, we're getting there. We're getting to the bat facts. Artificial hibernaculum. Is that a real word? Hibernaculum. don't think we've done that. Do not touch any bats. Confused bats. Do not panic. Do not touch a bat. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do it wrong and the bats are gonna get confused. I just know it. Oh yeah, listen to that fuzzy sound. I'm sorry if it's frustrating that my memory is not always that greatest and I have a hard time keeping track of different, like, chronology elements. Shannon and Weaver were kids when their parents died, right? So it would be different floods. But a flood would be perhaps there being a flood, I think, is not accidental after it being a flooded mine that kills them. So far, no bats. I've gotten confused. Alright, well, Ashley is here to, Oh, there was a bat. I swear there was a bat. To help me keep track of things. That's a confused bat. That's another confused bat. I'm gonna try this. So Austin, Texas is home to the world's largest urban bat colony, which is really a sight to behold. If you're ever in Austin around August is peak bat season. Around sunset, go to the Congress Street Bridge, and you won't be the only one there. I promise you that. The former Statesman parking lot. It's a popular place to park and then walk up to the bridge and wait. It's all hot and sweaty and it smells a little bit, but it's fascinating. And when you see all of the bats come swarming out, it's funny because, like, in a way, it's your brain is like, oh, birds, but they're not birds. They're like not right. They're like not right birds instead of, you know, and it's really, there's something interesting about the way your brain is like, these are birds, but they're not, and is confused. Ha. That's cute. This feels like this is definitely like written for children type of bat facts. Like, this is how kid-friendly exhibits are written. Of course, they're pretty scientific word-wise. Yeah, does this not sound like something that you would see in a children's exhibit on dinosaurs or something? Ooh, that's really great. That's a really good line. I appreciate that. Oh, Conway. Conway just wants to be loved, but he doesn't think he deserves love. If you're going to imbibe or start imbibing, do so carefully. And if you have a family history of people struggling with it, perhaps refrain if you can. Actually applied shortly after I moved to Toronto. I actually applied for a job at the Royal Ontario Museum that would have been writing and communications. I didn't even get a call back or an interview at all. I felt a little sad about that because I thought I was a good fit. but it's a great museum. So I'm trying to get like a sense for what's going on here. The bats are distressed. It was a really good fit for my my career path at the time, but they did not think so, alas. Oh! Guys, why are there distillery boys everywhere here? There's a... Is there something stuck to this tree? The bats are indeed freaking out. But I'm not touching the bats. But it is really interesting to see, like, at the same museum, the different ways that different exhibits are written based on who they think the audience will be. Locally bred and spawned, hyperallergenic, antiseptic pseudomoths, the little gray nothing moth. Hmm. 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 uh... Yeah. Oh, Donald. Conway. It's nice to get a better peek into Conway's mind, but also I'm sad. Huh. Huh. Weaver. I don't know. We were just talking about your folks. Yeah, that's one way of describing that conversation where we encountered an angry memorial to the miners who died in a flood. Talking about your folks. Oh, there was that cabin in the museum that Conway went in and looked and found there was like a trapdoor or something like that, I think. This is the direction this conversation should go, but this is the ouch. No. Oh no, I picked the wrong answer. The trees that are stripy are creepy. I did. Oh, wait, that's an umbrella. Why is there an umbrella? Guys, there's a bunch of umbrellas. And do you see? There's multiple umbrellas. And I'm not... Yes, the bats are unhappy. But I want to leave the distillery boys behind. Where have we seen umbrellas? Oh, the rain. The museum. No, go away. Go away. Nobody likes you. Go away. Go away. Go. Go. Why are you here? What are you doing? Are the... Oh, it's being maintained by the distillery too. They're the ones that... that maintain this. Just like they have like the fake humans. Like the fake life surrounding the humans. They've got the fake life surrounding the bats. Just everything created by the company. All you need to worry about. Here's radio. Buy a people calendar. In the right place at the right time. I mean, Conway thinks that he should have died that day, and Conway thinks that she thinks he should have died that day. They're awfully close, guys. Like, I thought that they were, like, passing by behind us, but these guys are following us. You know? White nose syndrome. Oh, is this a real syndrome? I guess I've been lucky in that none of my family have... Oh, that's a power line. Why is there a power line? You see that? You see that? The rest of these are trees, but that's a power line. That's a really bad idea. Are these guys finally gonna leave? No. No, they're not. Yeah, like the radio being on randomly. Yeah, my ex-husband's grandmother had Alzheimer's, and it was, even it being my boyfriend at the time, even there being that distance, it was hard to see. Yeah, those are totally power lines. There was something else. Oh, right. Consolidated Power Company. Yeah. Now we're going to the operator's room. What is that? What is that? What did you see? What is that? That's the paper boat. It's a paper boat right there. You see it? Yeah, it's a paper boat right there. That's a nice little detail. Well, humans can't be trusted to take care of themselves after all. Should place their trust in the company. The company will take care of them, right? Right. Oh, has it been following me down the river? I don't know if I noticed that the whole time. Oh, there's something glowing in there. I'm a little bit nervous about that. Glowy things are scary in this game because sometimes they're the looks like we've arrived. I probably missed some conversations, but oh well. Here we go. This looks like a person with a beard. Oh, Conway. Conway. And don't look back. Conway. I mean, poems and rivers and mysteries are good things. Flora, that I suppose is one way of ending the conversation. Okay, bye. Dashiell. Oh, interesting. Look at the like weird, cool green shapes. Not nanofarads. Is that an actual, like, is that a thing? Does that actually exist? I really like the idea of her, this being her expertise. Oh, he's Morse. Okay. Hmm. Shannon's like, ooh, I'm excited about this. A light or lack thereof. Coming here since I was a kid. Bats were considered a nuisance, so we relocated them and said that it wasn't that they were a nuisance, it was that we were taking care of them for their own good. Always cold. Huh. Slowly filled with water. Everything's filling with water. Everything we have is borrowed. The crystal room. Oh wait, the TV station is still in existence at this point. Hmm. Yeah. The crystal room. Hmm. Huh. That's really interesting. Oh, there's the plaque. Okay. I have to read everything, you know how it is. Oh no! Abelard and Heloise. Now there's a story. If you want to read an interesting piece of history. I believe they also show up in Dante's Inferno. Oh my god. Okay, so we have an avian post. Okay, if you aren't familiar with Abelard and Heloise, go look them up. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna tell my roommate that this game had a reference to that. She's gonna think that's funny because she too has an interest in medieval literature. Mm. That's funny. That's very funny. That's very funny, guys. It really is. I have to look around and then I love that there's just like in these facilities that are clearly not equipped for people to be using them as like offices, but they are offices. Who does it claim to be from? Man, these could be really interesting. I don't know which option to go with. Allergies are making my eye a little itchy. Wow. Anyway, Abelard and Heloise are actual historical figures that he was her tutor. They had an affair. Her dad got really mad and had, I believe it was her father, had a bunch of like basically hired goons to go castrate Abelard in the middle of the night, and then he wound up forming a like being in charge of like a monk place, and she joined a nunnery, but she was still like, I have the hots for you, and he was like, I no longer have those interests anymore, I will be your religious and spiritual leader. And she was like, that's not what I'm after. It was very, it's an interesting story and it is historical. So that's why when they're like, yeah, and then Abelard in an accident was disfigured, and I'm like, yes. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyway, that's not what I was expecting to see a reference to in this game. I don't know why not. Let's go with this. I'm afraid to open it. That's fair. Hmm. Oh no. So he feels useful. Ah, yeah. That's all that's all Conway talks about is in terms of his jobs. That was when I worked this, that was when I worked that. That's the only life he has. And I think in a way he's kind of relieved to be brought on by the distillery because then he'll have a job again. And he was, I think, terrified at the thought of losing his only way of identifying himself as Lizette closed the shop. Um, there are no real jobs here, fake jobs. Loretta! Kara. Some of these are names I know. They're all women, of course. Hmm, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's not that we need people, except that we actually do need the hours filled. We just don't feel like paying with people or paying people to do the job. So we'll just cut back and cut back and cut back, but still expect the fewer people to do the same amount of work. I guess she just ignores that. Hmm. I wonder if you count the number of chairs if you'll find 13. That's such an interesting way. Yeah, I was wondering blue glass. This is such an interesting way of describing it. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. Oh right. Um Carrington, did I get his name right this time? Trying to get a hold of me and saying, "Oh, something's going wrong with the operators. They put me through the wrong place, right?" Or something with the wires getting mixed up. Calls were getting mismatched. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Poppy. Yep. Why don't you just quit? That's what people always say. Why don't you just get a different job if your job is toxic and abusive and terrible? But I mean, I guess dignity is a factor. I think because I've never had to worry about not having dignity, society and work and things, like nothing has ever made me be in a situation where I thought I would not have dignity, and so therefore it's easy for me to be like, well, why do you care about dignity? Which I almost said, what does it matter if it's dignified or not? But that is actually me coming from a place of privilege. Huh. Oh, that's a nice touch, isn't it? Wait, am I controlling? What did I do? Did I miss the chance to do something? Oh, I probably closed out the chapter, didn't I? Wait. Yeah, I couldn't figure out why Homer looked like like he was over there. But but it's but no uh, but 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 I, no. I didn't realize that was him. I I I mean, he was talking like he was saying goodbye, and the whole section of the game around it is about people not being able to find identity outside of their work. And I was just saying, Conway doesn't find, Conway's like seems almost relieved to be easing into not having to think about that, and like going back into like I have a job and I'm drinking, and that's a known quantity for him. He he's not scared. Like, she's scared for him. She's saying no, don't, no, don't, no, don't. And he's like, at first I was like when I just said not that long ago, it had just occurred to me that he's like relieved. Like, he's like, oh, thank goodness. Like, and the game is drawing parallels between Conway's situation and the other people you see right before that. But I thought, and when he's like, you can have the truck, and the way he's talking there is kind of closure. But I thought that would be the end of the game. I thought that would be the end of the game. And I was like, it's gonna be a bittersweet ending because we're gonna say goodbye to Conway. But we didn't even say goodbye to Conway. And I didn't even realize what was happening because I have a really hard time understanding sometimes where controls are in this game or what's going on. So I didn't realize. I was like, why does it look like there's a dog over there? What's with the skull and what's this return thing? What does any of this mean? I don't know. And then you just keep going. And when she gets on the thingy alone, and you're just like, wait, does that mean, are we going to get closure on that? Is he just gone? Is anyone going to comment on it? Is nobody going to remember that he was there, which is what he's afraid of? So he gives her the truck because she's like one of the only people who's ever been like, hey man, you matter. Clinging to the person he'd once loved and who had loved him back, and her husband who hated him, and the family that he wished he'd had with her, and his continued connection to Lisette clearly held him back like an anchor, keeping him from healing and forming his own life. So instead, there was this life constantly reminding him of what he wasn't and what he didn't have. And he was in this permanent state, this permanent position of kind of quiet, hopeless despair. And then when Charlie, is that his name? Charlie, the boy dies, and it's just you can tell that it seems like Ira wasn't a great person, honestly. I think as far as I can tell, he doesn't seem like he was I don't think he was a terrible person, but he doesn't seem like he was a great person. But at the same time, Conway's this is the wife I wish I could have and the son I wish I could have, but instead I am a failure and a horrible person and deserve to be here basically like the dog stuck outside in the doghouse in the rain while the family sits inside the house and is happy and full of love, and this is where I belong, and this is what I deserve, and I should be in the dirt. It's just really sad. And Shannon is this stranger who's kind of trying to be, she cares because he's clearly not a bad person. Honestly, Conway's clearly a good person who means well and wants to be good to people. But he's so messed up and so beyond hope and help that she's trying too little too late, and it's really sad, and it's sweet how much it means to him that he's gonna give her, and I think he would have given her Homer too if I hadn't messed that up, but I didn't realize that's what was happening. So yay, way to go, games that are unclear, and I would not even have realized that was Homer or had any idea what any of that was if you guys hadn't pointed that out, so that's alright. I guess we'll go through and meet different people. Furniture. Yeah. Well, because there are always two distillery boys in the boat, and they keep following you, and I'm and when I was they're following me at the end, why are they following me? And then you're kind of concerned about you're really concerned about Conway, and why does he stay in the boat? Yeah. Well, I didn't realize my boat was empty until it said she goes like alone on the dinghy, and I was like, oh, there have always been only two distillery boys, and there were three. Yeah. How are you gonna get to West Virginia this way? She told them about the memorial. Yeah. What it was like to have to assert your humanity to them. Wow. So he's just... That's... Oh, you can see them. I didn't realize you could see them. Pomegranates. I do love dandelions. Yeah, there's all these people. All these people and all these stories and all these words, and you just kind of want a moment. And having so many people and things was hard. How is this? I should shut down. It's after 10:30 and I'm tired. And I'm sad. But this is a good sad though. Like that's good. That's storytelling. That's caring. That's they made me care about a character. They did a really good job, and that's the way things that are fatal go. You see it coming. You see it coming. And you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. And yet when it happens, it still catches you off guard. Those of you who knew pacing and stuff, should I go ahead? Like, can I save here? And pick back up? Or should I, is there a small amount, basically, even for me? Okay. Okay, how do I save here? Quit. Exit the game. Well, next time we will pick up. 'Cause it's late and I'm tired, and it's not going to mess up the emotional pacing of the game too much if I take a break right here, right? That's fair, Gundy Butt. Yeah, well, but it is, I do really appreciate that, like, you expect it's going to hit at the end of the game because that's how artificial stories are structured. But real stories, you can know that death is coming and still be caught off guard by it every time. That's how it works. Yes, ephemera, I believe, is the intermissions and things like that. Yeah. That was really well done. That was extremely well done. It was really earned. I have some concerns or criticisms about the way that the situation with Homer was communicated. But I also understand that they wanted you to have that moment of wait, no, with Conway. And it's so frustrating because he's so accepting of it. He's relieved. He's like happy. He's like I mean, maybe happy isn't quite the right word, but like he's content with it. He's like, yes, good. This is as it's supposed to be. This is I'm going to pick up the familiar pain again. And it's like, no, sometimes you have to go through the unfamiliar, harder pain to get to a place where there isn't pain, which is also hard and scary. But if you just keep going back to the same pain that you know over and over and over and over again, and the same patterns that hurt you because it's a familiar hurt and that feels safer. No, it's hard, but you know. Good pacing. Very good pacing. No, that was an outstanding decision, and all of the way that the chapter building to it and the especially the immediately preceding stuff was all really well done. Like the creeping dread of the Distillery boys following you, realizing that the Distillery boys have been showing up and talking to Conway, and all of that, and kind of there's like a little bit of slight of, oh, is that at Blue Glass? You were momentarily playing as Homer, deciding to go with Conway or not. Maybe so. I'm not usually very clear when they change characters. But yeah, maybe that's it. But the one thing that they do that's really nice is there's like a well done story will sometimes do sleight of hand if they're about to do something, they'll do misdirection, where there are other oh yeah, Yuri? That's no good. Yeah, I don't know that I did that. I think I saw that there was reflections in the water, but I don't think I quite put things together. But yeah, he, they, because there's all this other stuff that you're really interested in. Like they give you like tantalizing bits of information about Weaver, and you're really curious and interested in Weaver, so you get that, even though they're kind of planting some seeds about what's coming. And then when you get to the memorial, you are really invested in Shannon's relationship to the memorial, that you may overlook kind of, make you kind of overlook what Conway is trying to say about memorials and being remembered after you go, which is kind of setting up that we're nearing the end, but in a way that doesn't necessarily slam you in the face with it, which is good. This is a game with a lot of subtlety in some elements of it. There are other things where it's like, this is what I am doing, and you're like, yes, game, I see what you're doing. But it's a very layered and nuanced game, so it makes sense that in that case they're setting it up, they're building it, they're signaling in a way that we are nearing the end with Conway. But because we're viewing things through Shannon's experiences and it's focused on Shannon and her family, it doesn't hit you that's that we're nearing the end with Conway. And when you drop him off and he's like, no, I'll stay here, go on ahead, you're like, this is kind of weird. Like I'm not comfortable letting Conway go. I'm not comfortable leaving him here. I'll see you later. And like it feels, and you're like, oh no, something bad's gonna happen. But you're not quite like, this is the last time I'm going to see Conway. But then when you talk to that guy and you're like, oh, this makes me think of Conway's situation. Like the guy who's working with the circuitry, and he's like, yeah, I just want to have a job because I don't know what else to do. And you're like, oh, that's Conway. That's why Conway isn't scared of going with the Distillery boys. But you still don't quite think we're at the end with Conway. And then you move on to like to Poppy, the final character in that section. Yeah, like I didn't even notice that Conway had continued, but it's interesting because in a way it lowers your guard, because they are such interesting conversations and there's a lot going into it, and I'm really interested in Shannon. I like Shannon a lot. I think she's a great character, and I really want like the only real emotional connection that any characters in the game have with each other at this point is Shannon caring about Conway. And it's not even that the two of them have anything in common. And it's not even that, like, we went through this hard thing together. It is that she looks at him and says, I am so sad. Somebody has to care about this old man. This old man deserves for somebody to care about him, and I'm going to care about him. And I'm going to try to care enough about him to get him to care about himself. And that says a lot. No, I did not see Conway on the boat popping in and out of view there at all. I was so into the conversation, which I think again is their intentional misdirection, distracting you. So if you do happen to notice, you notice. But like I said, I'm invested in Shannon, and Shannon caring about Conway was really powerful. It's that's the emotional connection between characters in the game. Like that's it right there. We're building that. And so showing us, what's her name, Kara and Ezra, getting to know both of them a bit better is good, because at this point I've had Ezra a bit longer, so I'm kind of getting to know him more. And I want to get to know the rest of the characters a bit more too. But Conway and Shannon are the ones that I know the most. But so I care about what's happening with Shannon. I care about how much she cares about what happens with Conway. And then you have this moment of confusion. What's going on? What's going on? What just happened? What is this? Why is this happening? And you don't even fully realize. Kate, thank you. You don't even fully realize until she gets on the empty boat. And you have this, like, everything that has been building. Suddenly you can see the lines that they have drawn. You can see all of the connections, the way they've shaped the scene, the subtle and less subtle things that they have done building to this, and you're like, oh, of course this is the end for Conway. I didn't expect it, because from a meta perspective, thinking about narratives and games, I assumed that losing Conway was going to be the last thing we do, is we have an ending, everybody gets their ending, and Conway's is that he goes to the distillery. But that doesn't even happen. He doesn't get his grand ending. He goes. He's ready. He's relieved. Yeah, he doesn't have to try. He can just give up now, and he wants to, and that's so sad. Yeah, it's really beautifully done. It's very beautifully done. It's very, very, very well paced. It's very well written. The Homer thing is complicated, but I like the thought of, do you go with the skeletons or turn around? And Homer wants, I think Homer would stay. I think Homer would stay with Conway. Is that the happy ending? I don't know. Homer's also really old and has been with Conway for a long time, and I don't know. I think it's the ending that makes the most sense for them. Even if it's not the happy ending. You're not going to get a happy ending with Conway. I knew you weren't going to get a happy ending with Conway. I was like, but it's still possible for some of the other characters to make it out okay. I don't know what okay would be. I think Ezra's going to stay behind and kind of hang out maybe on the tugboat. I don't know. But yeah. We'll see who else makes who winds up hopefully with a better ending than, or a happier ending for them. Conway's ending is a very good ending. It's very good. It's very emotionally effective and well done and appropriate for the story and the characters, and they don't pull their punches, and there's a lesson to be learned there for storytellers. That was really good. That's there's a lot of really, like, affecting little moments in this game. That's very powerful. Like, that section might be, like, the most, I think that's the most powerful section in the game. There have been a few that have been really good. Like, I mean, there's a lot that's been good, but there have been a few that really have stood out. But that's one. And I mean, it's true, like, there wasn't really much else that they could, like, Conway was so steadily, like, kind of coming apart. There wasn't really anything that they could do. Like, they were drawing, like, of course we were coming to the end with Conway. Of course we were. I just didn't see it because I either didn't want to see it or assumed I wasn't going to, and I wasn't ready, but it was there. It was building. There, like, the story had no choice but to go there. Whew, that's really good. I'm glad I'm playing this game. I'm glad I picked it back up. And I'm gonna be all right. But we're probably gonna play a happy game for a little bit as a palate cleanser before we dive into something else that probably makes me sad. But no, this is good. This is good. This is very good. Conway's situation was narratively satisfying, and I'm not as bogged down by the horrible reality of the world, which is, of course, present in his story as well. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut down now because it is almost 11, and I've got work to do, and I'm tired, and I should probably take a shower and snuggle my kitty. Thank you guys so much for those of you who stuck through until the end of this, and for coming back after a long delay. I really appreciated your company and you staying so late, and we will be picking this up again next week. So I think that I'm settling into I think I'm settling into the schedule that works for me. So we're going to see if this goes next week, then we're going to stay with it for the time being, which is Mondays and Fridays creative sprints starting at about 10:30 Eastern in the morning. And then Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, is Twilight Princess, and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern is this. So, we'll see if that keeps up with random DDR streams and stuff. But yeah, thank you all so much. It's been lovely to have you here. It's good to see familiar faces, and I hope that you all have a good night. Take care of yourselves and be good to yourselves. Stay safe. All right? Stay safe. All right. I'm going to head out and I'm going to hug that cat. Bye.